What do you do if you're a first pick ADC and your mid picks an Immobile 8 mid? Like, you just pick the random ADC? I mean, like, the thing is, one thing that I think is important to understand is, like, when ADC goes side, or mid laner goes, like, let's say you have, it doesn't really matter which one it is. Let's say you're a red side team, right? Let's ignore everybody apart from your mid laner. This is your mid laner. This is you. Okay, we ignore everybody else. Ignore everybody else. They don't matter. They don't matter. They don't exist. Okay. How a lot of people think is if my mid laner stays mid and I have to go side, this means that I have to like fucking stay side for the rest of the game. No. That's not how it works. How it usually is that you're coming out of base, right? Coming out of base. Wrong tool. Coming out of base, then you catch the wave that's here, and then you slow push this wave. This is like the ideal sequence. You slow push this wave, which means you just last hit, right? You don't push it so that it stays like in this area. And then once it's like here, then you hard push and it goes to here.
This is my support!
Pretty much Furious live for 4 months.
_live1.
And if your support and jungle have put vision for you, or they're hovering you, or you're strong enough to like fight whoever comes, then you can keep pushing. If you're not, you've pushed the wave, you go join your team here. And then what's gonna happen is the opposite will happen, right? So now enemy mid or ADC, whoever it is, will be the one to push out the side lane, and then you go catch it again. So it's kind of this ping pong, you know? It's very rare as ADC, unless you're actually able to split push. Most of the time you're not. Sometimes you will be able to if you're playing like Vayne or you're really strong. And obviously, like if you're playing ADC, your support and jungle are here, and you're 4-0 as ADC, keep going, you know? Don't be scared. But if your support and jungle are here, even if you're 4-0 as ADC, most likely you just push this wave and you run away. When you think that you need to side lane, remember that you don't actually need to like side lane. You're going to be going side here and there, but you're not going to be staying inside the whole game. You stay side for one to three waves, and then you go group on mid again. And then while you have the move to mid, now maybe you guys can either fight on mid, or you can play for mid tower, or whatever. Like good things will happen from you moving to mid. Whether it's objective fight, whether it's mid tower, whether it's chunking enemy, whoever's on mid, like good things will happen. That's the biggest misconception I see when people talk about like side laning as ADC. And same thing with your mid laner. This is what your mid laner does. Like your mid laner is usually not just pushing wave until he reaches enemy and then pushing till death. You know, a lot of time he's pushing, and then once he gets to like this point, if his jungle support have not put vision for him or they're not close, then he will just like push the wave and then look to rotate to mid. Or maybe he'll recall, right? One of the two. Either rotate or recall. And then he catches the wave again, does it all over again. Rotate or recall. That's how you play the game. And both ADC and mid should play like that when they're on side. That's also why, like, that's I think the fundamental flaw with this video, talking about how if you have like Seraph Caitlyn, it's a disaster. No, it just means that someone catches this wave and then they push one more and then they rotate to mid. And then they try to make the enemy ADC's life miserable because he's playing against Seraph Caitlyn, so he gets poked when he tries to catch the wave. Or they get first moved to an objective, and then you're trying to face check against Seraph Caitlyn, and you get poked out, you know? It's good. It's good. You just need to... You're not going to be split pushing. Like, split pushing will not be the win con. While maybe, for example, if you're playing Akali, like, let's say this is Akali champ, then he really wants to push all the way. Well, Akali's not the greatest example because she doesn't really hit tower, but let's say you're playing, like, I don't know, Irelia mid. Then ideally, you want to have a lot of resources invested into you and even able to dive enemy mid and like play to hit tower, right? And if enemy mid moves, then you want to try to hit tower and punish them that way. And you're going to play a little bit more selfishly in that sense. And you can also play more selfishly because even if your support jungle aren't with you, maybe you're strong enough to 1v2 or at least 1v1 whoever comes. But it's not a bad video, just... I don't know. Oh, bro, the thought of queuing up for another game. In loyal, people don't play per comp, they play what they want to play. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's what I recommend as well. I tell people, just play what you want to play. You want to be a one-trick Kalista, even though Kalista is one of the worst champions in the game, that's what you should do. If you play what you enjoy, then you'll improve faster, you'll play the game more, and at the end of the day, video game. Not having fun, what are you doing? Like, for sure, like, I've, for example, coached someone, they had a really good win rate on Ashe, but they didn't play any Ashe anymore. And I was like, why don't you play Ashe? And they're like, I think the Corki was the champ. And they were like, why don't you play Corki? And I was like, they were like, oh, I just don't find Corki fun. And I'm not going to tell them, no, you should play Corki because it just defeats the entire purpose. Like, the reason we play this game, presumably, unless you're making a living, is to have fun. So if you're not having fun, then you're wasting your time.